What's going on, guys? Pete Nova here with the Face Off Sports Network. Thursday night football is here. Man, this season is really chugging along quickly, guys. It is another great week, though, of football. Another good week on deck. Some good games coming to us. I was really excited for the Rams and the Ravens game, but obviously earlier on in the season, that looked like it was going to be a good game, but Lamar Jackson not going to be available for that one. Seattle and Jacksonville is a game that I have circled on the calendar. Two teams, 4-1 Jags versus the 3-2 Seattle Seahawks. Seattle has to go into Jacksonville on that matchup. I'm excited to see, two of these teams that nobody pegged to be this good early on in the season. We're going to see who comes out on top there, but it should be a really juicy matchup. I want to see Sam Darnold against maybe a tougher defense in Jacksonville, and also see if Jacksonville's defense is for real or if they've just really gotten by on some favorable matchups so far this season. I do have my rankings updated. This is going to be a shorter show today. I'm going to cut it at 6 o'clock. So I got 50 minutes for you guys here today. Phillies are playing at 6:08, and I got to get to the bar. So I'm going to have to run out of here at 6 o'clock, head over to the bar to get there for the game. So super excited about that, of course, and an elimination against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So pray for me there. But super excited to be here with you guys today. If you have any start-sit questions, please let me know. I see Jonathan Santiago's question on deck, so we're going to get to that. And then if guys are not throwing questions at me, I will go over some matchup things I'm looking for, as well as just some key players and some key games for my rankings. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it, folks. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you like and subscribe to the show. If you haven't already, consider joining our Discord, guys. It is free to join. We're giving out advice, access to us all season long. There is a paid premium tier in there as well, which offers much more access and much more content and availability to us. But you can still jump in here as well. I'm going to send this link into the chat now. And that way you guys have it. And if you guys want to join us in there, we always have tons of questions that are being sent in there. And again, it is free to join. But let's start off with the first question here. Jonathan Santiago said, "What's up, Superflex League? Would you start Penix or Dylan Gabriel?" Yeah, look, I actually think Dylan Gabriel looked pretty good this week. Got the ball out really quickly. I think it's going to be a good stock up for the tight ends on that team. Njoku and Fannin specifically are the big winners with Dylan Gabriel, in my opinion. I don't really have this super close, though. I have Michael Penix as my quarterback 15 going up against Buffalo. I think it's a solid matchup. And let me just take a look here. Just make sure I'm going to pull up my points allowed sheets as well. So that way I can, make sure I give you some good information there. But when it comes to points allowed so far, the Bills at the moment, 26 when it comes to points allowed to quarterbacks. They're giving up 18.6 on average to the quarterback position right now. So not a very favorable matchup in that regard, but, they're not giving up many sacks. That offense for the Falcons is generating a lot of yards. Dylan Gabriel for me against Pittsburgh, it's a tough matchup. He's going to get the ball out quick. I don't expect him to do anything flashy. I have him as my quarterback 29. I have him behind Joe Flacco. I have him behind Cam Ward, Spencer Rattler. So I'm not starting Dylan Gabriel unless, you really have to, which in some Superflex leagues, you're definitely going to have to, but Penix is your better option here, in my opinion. Iggy, what's going on, man? Said, would you trade DK for Higgins or Henderson for DJ Moore in a PPR? No, I'm going to stick with DK Metcalf rest of the season here. He's got a good connection with Rodgers, in my opinion. Higgins obviously gets the boost with Joe Flacco, but I still expect that offense to be kind of volatile week over week. Henderson for DJ Moore. Let's see, DK for Higgins or Henderson. Okay, so or Henderson for DJ Moore. Yeah, it depends on your situation. I mean, running backs are much harder to find than wide receivers. I'm going to lean with Henderson here. I looked at the snap count, and when Antonio Gibson went down last week, and now he's out for the season. Henderson outsnapped Ramondre Stevenson. Stevenson had like 7 carries for 14 yards. He did score twice. It's just a matter of time for Henderson to me. I think I'm just kind of holding out hope. DJ Moore hasn't been great either. Maybe there's a trade coming at some point. I don't think that's going to happen unless this Bears team ends up being really, really bad. Right now, I think, they have how many wins does this Bears team have? 2-2, right? So they're 2-2. We'll see if they can stay competitive. I don't think that they trade DJ Moore. So I would ride with Henderson in this spot. Cash Money said, would you trade Jordan Mason for Henderson or Pollard? I would. Yeah, I mean, Henderson has the higher ceiling for the rest of the season once he really starts to get into that role. I feels like we've been saying this, constantly. Just have to be patient. I'm okay trading Jordan Mason for Henderson or Pollard, just off the sheer fact that, look, Jordan Mason doesn't have that. He doesn't have that passing down role. He isn't a split in an offense that should be pretty good, and hopefully better when McCarthy comes back, but that's still yet to be seen. Pollard's going to be in an offense that honestly, it's not going to be a great. I wouldn't trade him for Pollard. I would rather Jordan Mason over Pollard. I'd rather Henderson over Mason. I think Mason has a chance to have more points rest of the season, but when Henderson does get fully immersed in that offense finally, which I don't know when that's going to be, I think Henderson's going to have better points per games when he's out there. Mason also, again, like I said, doesn't have the receiving role, and Aaron Jones is going to come back at some point. So, but Jordan Mason has been a sell for me. Santiago, what's up? Said Chargers or Dallas this week. Also, Jamison Vidal or Alec Ayu Manor. Huge underdog, so need upside. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Vidal here. Vidal gets a really, really juicy matchup. He's going up against a team that just got absolutely shredded by Rico Dowdle. So I like Vidal this week. I have Vidal as my running back 37. There's a chance he bumps up in my rankings. I have Haskins at 27. But I think if you're looking for high upside, if Vidal ends up getting more touches than we expect, and Haskins is at 27 for me, it's a very real possibility that Vidal ends up being an RB2 this week. Jamison Williams, I mean, you're talking extreme volatility here. He should be in a competitive game. So, maybe you go with Jamison Williams. I think Jamison Williams has the highest upside. I think Vidal has solid upside, but a better floor. And I think Ayu Manor, I'm not looking to start him, even though he's got a really good matchup. I'm not going to start Ayu Manor. Dallas or Chargers this week. I am just checking on this really quick. I have the Chargers at 16 and I have Dallas at 15. I would go with Dallas. It's worse. It's a much worse defense than the Chargers, but Carolina is a much worse offense than Miami. Miami, for what it's worth, over the last 2-3 weeks, EPA wise, they're at the top of the NFL, top 10 in EPA on offense. So offense has been better than people want to admit. So I would go with Dallas if you're looking for upside against Carolina. We do have a super chat in here, so I'm going to get to that. Ben Tastic with a $2 super said, start 6. Roma Dunze, Pickens, Adams, AJ Brown, Breece Hall, Rashad White, Etienne, or Montgomery. Yeah, so I mean, I'm definitely starting. I get, if I can start any of these, not regardless of positions. I'm definitely starting Rome, Pickens, Adams. Like, that's an auto start for me. I have Adams at 6 this week. I have Rome at 7. And I have Pickens at 8. So you're starting all 3 of them. Then it would be between. I'm starting White. So White would be my 4th here. And then it really is between, obviously Etienne, Montgomery, Hall, AJ Brown for the last 2 spots. I do think AJ Brown's going to have a good week this week. I would start ETN though over AJ Brown, and then it's really between Hall, Monty, and AJ Brown. And I would go with Breece Hall just because Denver has had some issues covering running backs out of the backfield. But I do think AJ Brown has a really solid chance to have a good week this week against the Giants. But appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for popping in. Let's jump over to where we stopped at, and that is Steven. Take a sip of my beer here. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to the show. Continue to send questions in to me. I will continue to answer them. I'm going for 40 more minutes. And then when the Phillies game starts, I'm getting out of here. Steven said, evening, Pete. Start AJ Brown or Tetarello McMillan, PPR. Yeah, I'm starting Tet this week over AJ. I do like AJ a lot, but I'm going to go with Tet. I have him as my wide receiver 14. The volume is there for Tet. It's really just like, can we get this guy into the end zone? But I like Tet a lot this week. I feel like every week people are trying to, you know, you know, speak it into existence that Tet's going to get into the end zone and have that big week that we've been hoping for. So I'm going with Tet though in this spot. Fannin or AJ Brown, AJ Barner. I'm going to go with Fannin. I think Dylan Gabriel is going to help that passing attack for those tight ends. Hoff said over under 17 and a half fantasy points for Jackson Dart tonight. I'm going to take the under there. Jay Hang said flex 2, Carter, Henderson, Travis Hunter, Franklin. I am not a huge fan of Michael Carter this week. Looks like Jacoby Brissett is likely going to be the quarterback. I have Michael Carter as my running back 28 this week right now against Indianapolis. His defense has been playing really good. I do have him ahead of Henderson. But yeah, I'm starting Carter and Henderson here over Hunter and Franklin. Appreciate you coming in. Dylan said, would you move Flowers for AJ Brown and redraft? I'm 2-3 in Flowers. Won't put up Jack with Cooper Rush, and they have a bye next week. We actually just got a question. I don't know if that's you, but somebody just asked us a question 2 seconds ago about Flowers in our Discord. But I was just checking that, and I don't think that's the same person. But yeah, okay. So move Flowers for AJ Brown and redraft. 2-3. Flowers won't put up Jack with Cooper Rush. Yeah, I'm good with this. I'm good with making the move here. I don't know when Lamar's coming back, especially look with the bye next week. He hasn't practiced this week. I don't expect him to play this week. And I think AJ Brown might have that pop this week. So I would do it. I would move Flowers for AJ Brown. I know not many people are man enough to say it because people are not happy with AJ Brown, and I get it. I'm not happy with him either, but I would make that deal. Jared's in the house. What's up, Jared? Good to see you, man. Dynasty Jen said, would you rather have to sit across country drive with Chuck only to listen to his favorite song, Chumbawamba, Tub Thumper, or fist fight your good friend Hoff? I mean, I could fist fight Hoff. That'd be fun. I mean, some underlying issues there. We could kind of get that frustration out. But no, all jokes aside, appreciate you coming in, buddy. German said, start one, please, PPR. Theo Johnson, AJ Barner, Evan Ingram, Zach Ertz, Kittle on the IR. Yeah, I mean Theo Johnson back-to-back weeks with a touchdown. So I mean he's definitely up there at the moment. I do have Evan Ingram higher than him, and I have Zach Ertz higher as well. I just with Theo, I don't like this offense tonight against the Eagles, and Eagles linebackers have been really good. For what it's worth, I do have Zach Ertz ahead of all of them, and they're all in a cluster of 4 right now for me. So I have Zach Ertz here at 17 against Chicago. I would go with Zach Ertz this week. Will said, "Hey Pete, congrats on making top 10 in Fantasy Pros rankings. Appreciate that, man." Said, "Quick question: pick 2 running backs: Dowdle, Carter, Warren, Monty, PPR. Thank you." Yeah, I'm definitely getting Rico Dowdle in my lineup. I don't expect Hubbard to play. He was off, not in pads, working out to the side this week. I'm not starting Carter. I have Jalen Warren at 20. Let's see. So it's between Warren and Montgomery. I would go with Warren against Cleveland. Montgomery is like a safer play. I think he'll probably score a touchdown, but I think Warren has the higher upside. So I would go with Warren. If you want upside, if you want safe, I would go with Montgomery. Steven, Bills or Pats defense, many thanks. Bills for me, something to keep an eye on if you did watch my streamers. I do have the Patriots at 13 this week. But Christian Gonzalez is dealing with an injury again, so that's concerning. They will definitely be dropping my rankings if Christian Gonzalez does not play. Uh Gomain said Colts defense this week. Yeah, Colts defense number 5 for me. Jacoby Brissett getting injured and possibly not playing likely bumps them up ahead of the Steelers who play Cleveland. Both teams are home here. So yeah, I mean, I think I like the Colts though more than the Steelers, so I'll put them over up at 4. Patrick said which defense? Jags versus Seattle, Dallas versus Carolina. Yeah, I'll go with the Jags, just a better defense. I know they're playing a tougher offense, a much tougher offense. Dallas has higher upside here, in my opinion, but the Jags have a better floor. I don't know. I don't trust Dallas's defense. I know that they made the Jets offense look good last week. They looked good against the Jets offense last week, but they did also kind of fall apart towards the end of the game. Appreciate you coming in, Patrick. Also said my tight ends are Mason Taylor and Hawkinson. Should I drop Hawkinson for Loveland as a stash? Thinking post by bump. I'm not there yet. I got to be completely honest with you. I'd rather drop Mason Taylor for Loveland if I was banking on that. And I think rest of season, while I'm a big fan of Mason Taylor, I think Loveland has higher upside and an offense that's going to throw more. So if you're looking for that upside, I would rather drop Taylor for Loveland. Hawkinson, I get it. It hasn't been there for him in terms of like he hasn't had that pop for us yet, but he's consistently getting the ball on a week by week basis. And so he's on a bye this week, of course. So is Loveland. I'm not dropping Hawkinson though. I'm not doing that. Trone Force said 4-1 need an upgrade at wide receiver. Just traded DK and Rashad White for Nico Collins. Yeah, that is a good trade. I like it. I mean, you're selling Rashad White high, and if as long as Bucky Irving comes back, I mean, Rashad White he's going to be flex worthy, but he's not going to be RB1, RB2 worthy. Um, and then of course I'd rather have Nico over DK. Wide receivers are Nico, Olave, Devonta, McLaurin, Hunter, Cup, CMC, Barkley, Warren, Gainwell, Vidal. Yeah, you're in a good spot. I like the trade. Good stuff, John. Thanks for jumping in. Tree Hugging Hunter said, would you trade Swift for Evans, have Bucky, ETN, JCM, K9, and Judkins lacking wide receivers, have a Dunze, Pearsall, T-Mac? I have a lot of teams that have a Dunze, Pearsall, T-Mac as well. So I'm in a similar boat with the injury with Pearsall. That's been frustrating. Having BTJ is nice. Could also start BTJ or ETN in the flex. Well, it is interesting. I mean, if Seattle's still going to be missing those guys in the secondary, I would start BTJ over ETN if you want ceiling. If you want safe floor, I would go with ETN, but I lean BTJ in that situation. You said, would you trade Swift for Evans? You're trading a healthy player for an injured player. But you do have depth at running back. So I mean, you don't need Swift. So I would do that deal. You can afford it, and Evans would really bolster your wide receiver room. As long as he's healthy, he's going to be good too. I know Dunze's been great, but I think Evans will be just fine once that happens. Deshaun said, start 2, flex 1, Tet, Ridley, Juwan Jennings, Kendrick Bourne, Godwin, Golden, Chase Brown. Yeah, I'm starting Tet. And whew, man, I'm gonna start Kendrick Bourne. I mean, with the news that Pearsall is probably not playing this week, once that becomes official, Kendrick Bourne will bump up my rankings. If Juwan Jennings plays, I'll have Jennings as the guy over Bourne. But I don't know if Jennings is playing yet. So right now, if Jennings is out, it's going to be Bourne as the second wide receiver. And then I would go with Godwin. Godwin, the volume has been there since he's been back. He's still clearly not like fully healthy. But I have Godwin at 34. I have Ridley like one spot ahead of Godwin, but it's a bad secondary. So like you could go for Ridley. I think Ridley's shooting for upside. So if you want upside, go Ridley over Godwin. But ultimately I am starting Juwan Jennings, and he gets a bump up if he's healthy. So probably be Tet, Jennings, and Godwin again if you're looking for safety, Ridley if you're looking for upside, and then Bourne over Jennings, Ridley, and Godwin if Jennings is out. Patrick said have May at backup. Trade Josh Allen plus Ladd for James Cook and Zay Flowers. I'm 3-2. No, I'm not doing that. Just not doing it. I know May's been great, but there's been a lot of the problem with the Patriots is they're just they don't throw the ball a ton, and so while May has been like dude, I have Drake May. I'm like more than 50% of redraft rosters as my starting quarterback. So this is not even to throw shade at Drake May. I love Drake May rest of the season. I think he's a top 10 quarterback, but you have Josh Allen here. You know they're going to throw. They have the most explosive plays in the NFL. They're giving up a top 5 explosive plays in the NFL. So like they're going to be in track meets. The thing with Drake May is when you look at his attempts, 46, 23, 37, 17, 30. I mean, his schedule is not great the next 4 weeks, but then it gets really nice from week 10 to 13. And then the playoffs, it looks solid. You get Buffalo, which is a tougher matchup, Baltimore, and then the Jets. But I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that trade. J Dab said Dynasty PPR. Would you trade ETN and Olave for Drake London? I would, in a heartbeat. I would get off the stream and go hit accept now. I would do that right now. Neil said, should I trade Dak for Lamar? I would get Lamar. I have Drake May and CeeDee Lamb. Yes, I would do that. I would do that. Yeah. I mean, you have Drake May. If Lamar's not going to play this week, he's probably not going to play next week. But you have Drake May and he doesn't have a buy until week 14. He can get you afloat until uh, he can get you by until it comes back. I mean, look when Lamar is healthy, I love Dak, but I'm taking Lamar rest of the season over Dak still. So I mean, you can get by with Drake May, like I said, for the next 2 weeks while Lamar is out. I just realized I still have my polo on, so I have my polo on from work, and I have a sweatshirt on top of it because I had to take a break at work today because I work remotely to walk my dog. And I never took that off. And then I threw this on for good luck for the Phillies game. So yeah. Anyway, Go Main said thoughts on Colts defense. Yeah, I love Colts defense. I have Colts defense as my number 4 defense now. They've bumped up one spot ahead of the Browns ahead of the Steelers in anticipation that Jacoby is the starter. Said love your content. Found you last season. Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Kenny, what's up? Good to see you. I said, would you rather start Michael Carter or Tyquan Thornton if Worthy doesn't play? PPR in the flex trade left made me a little bit thin this week. I would go with Michael Carter if you're looking for a safe play. I would go with Thornton if you're looking for a little bit of a riskier play with upside. Thornton's been heavily involved in that offense. VB said CD for Waddle and Scattaboo. If I get rid of Waddle, need to start Javonte Williams, Golden, and Henderson. Ooh. If I get rid of Waddle, so I'm confused. So you're getting CD or giving CD? CD for Waddle. If I get rid of Waddle, need to start Williams, Golden, Henderson. Okay, so I'm assuming you are okay. So you are getting CeeDee Lamb, and you're giving up Waddle and Scat. It would depend. If you have is Scattaboo your RB2? Is he your RB3? What do your running backs look like in a vacuum without knowing your team? Look, Javonte Williams, Golden, Henderson. That's fine. For now, I mean, it could be a tough week, but CeeDee Lamb might play this week. And if he doesn't, plays next week. Let me see, actually. CeeDee Lamb practicing. Let's see. All right, so this is 4 hours ago from Cowboys Wire. And Cowboys Wire said he did not participate in practice. He does not have a game status listed as of now. Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, if you can afford to if your record's good enough and you can afford to maybe take an L this week, I would do that trade. PPR, ETN, JCM, Scattaboo, Olave, start 2. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Let me just check my rankings. Um, let's see. Corey, I have a 22. Scadaboo, I have 18. So I'd start Scadaboo. ETN, I have higher at 15. Yeah, I'd roll with ETN and I would roll with Scadaboo. Um, KJ said need to start two Henderson, RJ Harvey, Charbonnet, Vidal, or Kendra Miller. Ooh, man. This is tough. It's a really, really tough spot you're in here. Hmm. So I would start Henderson over Charbonnet. Um, I would start. So you're starting Henderson. That we'll get that out of the way. I like Henderson this week. Starting Henderson. Um, I would start Sharps over Harvey. I would start Sharps over Vidal. Kendra Miller is tough, but I would start Sharps over him as well. So yeah, I would go with I'm going with Henderson and Charbonnet. Um, if I was gonna maybe make a high upside risky play, I'd bench Sharps for Vidal. Um, Traded Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen for Jetta's thoughts. Um, yeah, I mean it's fine. Yeah, I mean that's good. I mean if you have the depth to tier up, that's okay. I know it sounds crazy. I don't know how much better Jetta's is going to be than Adams rest of the season. I know that sounds crazy, but Adams has the better quarterback, and a better offense. But if you have the depth for this, I mean that's totally fine. I'm okay with it. You're banking on one of the best, if not the best, wide receivers in football, so that's fine. If you had to give up Keenan Allen to do it, and you have the depth, that's okay. Um, Kamara or Chase Brown? I'm going with Kamara, but I don't really feel great about it. I have Kamara at 25 this week. I have Chase Brown at 29, and part of that is because Kamara looks like he's dealing with something right now too. KJ Frederick said, "Should I drop Seahawks defense for the Rams?" Yeah, I would drop Seattle for the Rams. Uh, Trade Hurts and T Higgins for Baker. Um, no, 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 don't do that. I'm not doing that. Nope, nope. Big Fish Dog said, "Pick two: Chase Brown, Quentin Johnson, Cortland Sutton." Yeah, I'm starting Sutton this week. He played great against a really tough matchup in Quinyon Mitchell last week. So involved in that offense. And I'm starting Quinn Johnson. So Chase Brown can sit on the bench. VB said Bijan, Arby's or Bijan, Henderson, and Scat. Yeah, you're fine then. That was in regards to the comment before. J Dab said, appreciate the feedback. Great stream. Go Phillies tonight. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Let's say I'm assuming Jason said PPR Moore or Higgins. Um, I have DJ at 23 this week. Washington's secondary is pretty bad. So I would go with DJ over Higgins. Unless there's a chance that the Bengals are getting blown out so badly that Higgins just gets salvaged by garbage time, which is very possible. Ezekiel said, should I trade Sutton, Kamara for Gibbs and Shakir? Yes, you should do that. You should definitely do that. And that's coming from a Broncos fan. So, one thing you get with me is I do put my bias to the side. I love Cortland Sutton. He's been awesome this year. But if you're telling me you're getting Gibbs, the best player in the deal by far. And Kamara, it's getting weird. It's getting freaky with him right now. I don't know what to expect. I don't really love Shakir. He's going to be an up and down player. I mean, where like maybe he gives you a couple spike weeks this year, but I mean, he's just a fill in flex play. But yeah, I mean, you can't. It's hard. You go get Gibbs. Go get Gibbs. Appreciate it, KJ. VB is just giving a little bit extra context. So CD for Waddle and Scat. Okay. JMO, Adunze, AJ, Nico. Oh yeah. You're fine. You're good at wide receiver. You're good at running back. I'd make that deal yesterday. Jason said PPR Theo or Ertz. Ertz usage is not good, but he's on a better offense. I'm going with Ertz. I know the usage. I think I read something that said this was like the first time Ertz was in a game in like 10 years. has he been in the league for 10 years, man? I thought I saw it. Oh, shoot. Stream looked like it just dropped out for a second there. I don't know if you guys can hear me okay. Send me a comment in the Send me something in the comments. Make sure you can hear me. I'm gonna keep rolling, assuming that you can. Let's see. Zach Ertz has been in the league since is it 2014? Okay, he was in the league in 2014. Um, okay, yeah. So he's been in the league since. So was he? Okay, he was a rookie in 2013. 2013. Okay, yeah. So I think this was. I think I no joke read this that this was the first time uh in a game that Zach Ertz fully started, that didn't leave the game early, that he hadn't had a catch. I don't expect that to continue. Just a bad week. Chargers linebackers are good. Um, I'm going with Ertz. I'm willing to take a risk. Eagles got some good linebackers, man. And I do think Theo has been really good. That connection looks like it's there. He's a higher upside play. That would be what I would say. Theo is a higher upside play. Ertz is a safer play. If you're in a matchup and you're projected, to be down, and you feel like you might have to chase some points, then I would go with Theo. Um, but they're right next to each other for me. Jenny Whipple, what's going on? Said Jordan Love or Patrick Mahomes. Um, so I have Jordan Love pretty high in my rankings this week. I have him at 8. I also have Mahomes very high as well. I have Mahomes at 3. Mahomes might drop down just slightly, but he's been freaking really good. And that game is going to be competitive. It's Sunday Night Football. They're at home. Um, so yeah, I'm going with Mahomes right now. I think 3 might be a little overzealous for me right now where I have him, but he's got weekly finishes of 4 and 3 the last 2 weeks. So, yeah, he's been freaking good. And I think he'll be in a more competitive game. And I love Jordan Love. He's in my top 10, but there's a chance that they're dusting them. So, Keister said Kraft or Kincaid. Kincaid, another guy, man, flying under the radar. Nobody's really talking about him, but he's been pretty good this year. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Tucker Kraft here. Tucker Kraft is my tight end 4 this week. I have Kincaid at tight end 7. Daniel said, should I trade Ferguson and Mason for Rice? My wide receivers are Jettis, JSN. I have Waller at tight end. You're taking a hit. You're taking a big risk in hoping that Waller, is healthy. But you could stream tight end rest of the season. This is fine. I mean, this is totally fine. I'm 100% doing this. You're getting Rashi Rice. That's a great deal. You're going to take a hit at the tight end position, especially if Waller can't stay healthy, which has been his history. But you can always stream tight end. Rice is the best guy in the deal. I'm taking that. William Stevenson said, if CD can't fully get back from his injury, this could be the highest he will be rest of the season, thinking about sending an offer for London Plus. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. But I think he's gonna get healthy. And that offense looks like it's gonna freaking air it out all year. Iggy said, is Purdy droppable? I have Caleb and Dart. Any sleepers you pick up for PPR? Man, I don't know. I don't want to say Purdy's droppable. Let me look at what his schedule looks like, because look, he's not healthy right now. Obviously that we know, but reinforcements are coming. And I know that the schedule, at least from what I recall, is really, really good. So, ugh, actually, it's really, really bad. Geez. Yeah, he doesn't have the only matchup that he has that's like a plus matchup. He's got Tampa Bay this week, which he's probably not playing. I think it's already started that Mac Jones is starting. Outside of that, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks from now until week 13. So in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 out of the next 8 weeks, Brock Purdy has a top 10 defense that he's playing when it comes to points, like lowest points allowed to quarterbacks. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, I'd say he's droppable. Dart's got more upside, but Dart's got a tough schedule too. Um, oh man, part of me kind of wants to say drop Dart. I like Dart. I think he's going to get done with his legs, but that schedule is pretty brutal too. I gotta imagine. I mean, I know it's brutal. I just don't know what they're giving up to quarterbacks. And you have Caleb to start, so it's not like you need. Honestly, I'll say it. I'll drop Jackson Dart and keep Purdy. I'm not going to get crazy. I'd give me the guy in the better offense. It could be tough sledding. I do see a super chat. I did click this first. I will get to your super chat in 1 second. Jason said Golden or Franklin half PPR. It's Watson going to steal work. Watson's going to be annoying. I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, he's going to come back, and I'm very happy that he's looks like he's going to be returning. I think he's going to be impactful. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be a red zone threat for them. And I think Jordan Love has a good relationship with him. Now, shifting gears, yeah, I mean, you're starting Golden and praying. I mean, that's such a good matchup though, either way. I'm not worried that Watson steals work this week, but over time, I think it's very, very possible. I like Troy Franklin. He's been steadily involved. Franklin's a safer play. Golden is a very, very high upside play against the Bengals. I mean, it's a plus matchup. So I would go with Golden if you're swinging for the fences. Alfredo in the house. What's up, buddy? Said start Waddle or pick up Bourne. Come on. Start Waddle. Don't overthink it. Look, Kendrick Bourne, I'll probably have him in some lineups, especially in some deeper leagues in the flex. But I mean, come on, you got to go with Jalen Waddle here. It's Jalen Waddle is my wide receiver 12 this week. Don't get crazy. Go start Jalen Waddle. Don't get crazy, man. Appreciate you dropping in and appreciate the super chat as always, my friend. All right, everybody's saying I'm good. My mic's working. Debbie's here. Debbie, appreciate you donating to that thing for my sister. Very, very much appreciated. Mackie said, "Where can we find your rankings?" Yeah, so if you join the Discord, so my rankings are for. So we have a premium Discord. It's in Patreon as well, but the Patreon, the rankings go out to paid Patreon members. So it's part of our membership. It's not an expensive membership, guys. I mean, you could pay for the lowest tier, and I think it's $7.99 or something like that a month. And you can even try it out for free, and you can cancel. I just sent out the Patreon Patreon link. That's where you can jump over to get to the rankings. They're listed there. And then once you sign up for a 7-day free trial, if you like it, you can stay. But you can always jump in our Discord for free. The Discord is still free. So Discord is free. I sent it in the chat before. I'm going to drop it in here one more time. You can join the Discord for free. And then there are some premium channels in that Discord as well. But we do answer people's questions, and people are sending questions in right now in the Discord while I'm live. So you can absolutely join there as well. But I appreciate the question. Edgar said, I don't know whether to start Scadaboo or Rico Dowdle. Can I start both or start one and put Diggs on the flex? What do you think? Oh man, I'm starting Rico over Scadaboo this week. Rico is my running back 10. And I have Diggs rather high this week. I have Diggs as my wide receiver 13 against the Saints. Back-to-back weeks of 100-plus yards. First time since Julian Edelman for the New England Patriots. And that's on like a 50% snap share. Like once the snap share goes up, it's going to be even better for Diggs. I mean, Diggs is such a buy right now. It's not even funny. I said it last week before the game, and I haven't been able to acquire a single share of him. I can't get anybody to give him to me. So I'm starting Diggs over Scadaboo, and I would roll with Rico Dowdle. Appreciate the comment and the question. Got 10 minutes left, guys. Then I'm getting out of here for the Phillies game. Frank said Chase Brown, Flowers, or Golden at the flex, half point PPR. I feel like Brown might get some dump off passes from Flacco. That is the one case I can make for Chase Brown, is I do think the garbage time could be there for him with some dump offs from Flacco. So that is definitely a positive. Um, Man, this is tough though. I would go with Chase Brown and Golden. I would bench Flowers in this situation. I mean, Flowers makes his hay on PPR volume usually. I have him as my wide receiver 29. I have Golden as my wide receiver 38. But if we're talking half point PPR, that changes things for me. And I would have Golden ahead of Flowers. And I would have Chase Brown. I'll roll with that. I'll roll with that. Vice Key said, "Would you start Dallas Goddard or Dalton Kincaid this week?" I think this is close, but I think Kincaid. I have Kincaid at 7, and I have Goddard at 10. Jason's what's going on said, "Will Olave get shut down? Coleman, Downs, Jennings, or Pierce instead of in PPR?" So, big news for Olave is if Christian Gonzalez is out, I mean, that is a huge bump up, like massive bump up if Christian Gonzalez is out. So you're starting him definitely if Gonzalez is out. If Gonzalez is in, I have Olave at 26. So I'd still start Olave just because he's giving you a really good floor. The one guy I'd flirt with is Juwan Jennings. Very, very much could consider him. But I would still go with Olave. If now, yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a no-brainer to go Olave if Gonzalez is out. If Gonzalez is in, I could flirt with Jennings, but I'm probably still going with Olave. A&J Films, start Scadaboo or Quentin Johnston. Yeah, I have QJ at 20. I'm going with QJ against Miami. Scadaboo, I don't have high in my rankings this week. It's a tough matchup. I have Scadaboo at 18, and 18 for a running back versus 20 for a wide receiver is much different in my viewpoint. Receivers at 20 have a much I don't know. I'm not even going to explain it, but point is, wide receiver at 20 compared to a running back at 18, I'd much rather go with the wide receiver at 20 usually. There's a much more bigger drop off usually for running backs to me than there is for wide receivers. And that's a great matchup for him against Miami. Jason, who should I start in the flex? Marvin Harrison Jr., Trevor Henderson, Walker, Golden, or Laporta? Pick one. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker. If not Kenneth Walker, I would go with Laporta. As crazy as it sounds, I mean, Laporta against Kansas City, I think Laporta could have a really nice week against Kansas City. I'd even go Laporta over Marv. Normally, I wouldn't say that, but I kind of like it. So I'd go with Laporta. I mean, he's coming off a week against the Bengals where he was tied at 4. He's had some sporadic, involvement since then. But I'll go with Laporta. He had 92 yards last week. And obviously this isn't Cincinnati, but I'll go with Laporta. Fredo with another super chat said start 1 at the flex, 1 at running back, Walker, Chase Brown, Henderson, Haskins. 1 at the flex, 1 at running back, 2. Yeah, I'm going with Walker for sure. And I think I'm going with Haskins over Chase Brown. I think I have Haskins at RB 27. Yeah, I have RB 27 for Haskins, and Chase Brown's my RB 29. So I would go with Haskins, and I would go with Walker. Thanks, fam. Last one, Hunter Henry or Kyle Pitts this week. Jason, I'm getting to you 1 sec. Yeah, Hunter Henry. Kyle Pitts has been very solid too, though. I will say that. But I'm going with Hunter Henry as my tight end 18. I have Pitts at tight end 12. Bruce Judkins this week. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not as high on Breece Hall as consensus. I think consensus has him as like a top 12 play. I have Judkins at 14 against Pittsburgh. I'll go with that. Judkins has just been Judkins looks like one of the best running backs in the NFL right now. I'm going to go with Judkins, both tough matchups. I'll go with Judkins though. He feels like he has a much stronger grip on his role in his offense right now. Um, Jason said, "Is the type of fire, energy, and intensity that Stephon Diggs played with last week actually sustainable? I've honestly never seen such a psychotic effort in a long time." Yeah, I mean that'll do it to you in that revenge game, right? I mean, obviously playing against the Bills, there's a lot of emotions there for him. I think it's sustainable though. I mean, you know, 2 weeks back to back, 100 yards, and again, this is a guy that's not even playing 50% of the snaps. Like, I think this has been a slower ramp up for him, and they're not trying to rush him too much. Though I think he could do it, but I think they're being cautious. I don't think he wants them to be cautious with him, but I think they're doing it for his best interest. I think that snap share is only going to go up. And there's really nobody that's really stepped up in this offense. Pop Douglas has been a dud, and I liked him this season, but he's done shit. Hunter Henry is the guy that has stepped up. And outside of that, Kyle Williams, Boutte was nice, a couple touchdowns, and like everyone got all excited, but he's not going to be consistent either. I promise you that he is not going to be consistent. There's going to be Kayshon Boutte's on waivers every single week. So Kevin, $5 super chat. Appreciate it, man. Said trade offer in a 12 teams start 9. Give my Rashi Rice and Corey Krosky Merritt and a third. Okay, so is this Dynasty? I need to know if this is Dynasty, Kevin. So come back to me and let me pull questions, and then you need to tell me if this is Dynasty. Because if you're saying a third, is it like a keeper? Like, I need to know, because that really changes the okay. So you're giving Rice and Corey, Ladden Jacobs. Well, I mean, I would go with the lad side here. Yeah, I mean, the third round pick is whatever. I mean, I don't care. The assets, I mean, Lad and Rashi, asset wise, Rashi's going to be better season long, I think, once he comes back. He's going to be the guy that's better. But from a dynasty perspective, both these guys are very, very close. It's been a weird year for Lad. I get it, but I'm not tanking his dynasty value because of that. Jacobs over Jacory Krosky, I think is a very nice upgrade. People might not agree, and I like Jacory Krosky Merritt, but I don't think there's anything stopping this team from going and investing in a running back again next year. So his value could change dramatically. If you're contending, you're in second. Jacobs helps you more than Jacory does this year. Lad and Rashi, look, Rashi's going to hurt losing him. I guess I would also be curious to know, where does Lad and Rashi slot into? Are these what your wide receiver ones, your wide receiver twos, your wide receiver threes? Like, what would that be? So I lean Lad Jacobs, but with more context in that, let me know what other receivers you have. I'd be curious to know that. I will, once you send that in, I'm going to get out of here. I'll answer a couple questions before you do so. Aggie said Scat, Michael Carter, Henderson, running back 2 PPR. I'm going with Scat. Vice Key said, would you pick up Chase Brown, Kendrick Bourne off waivers? I would pick up Chase Brown, and Kendrick Bourne is not going to be a full season long start for me. Ayuk's coming back. Pearsall's going to come back eventually. Jennings. I would be going with Chase Brown. Okay, so you have Nico and you have Puka. Yeah, I would go with Lad then, right? I mean, Rashi being your wide receiver 3 would be really nice when he comes back. You can live with Lad being your wide receiver 3, and I'd rather Jacobs over Corey Krosky Merritt in Dynasty and season long and long term. Yeah, and if you're talking RB2, I would much rather have Jacobs as my RB2 than Jacory. So that's good context to know. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for the super chat, man. RJBP said Sutton, Wilson, Keenan Allen. Pick 2 wide receiver. Would you pick one? I'm going with Sutton over Garrett Wilson this week. Sutton. Garrett Wilson got shut down last season by Patrick Surtain. They don't have many other options, so I expect Surtain to shadow him this game. And I think it's going to be a tough day for Garrett Wilson. I don't have Garrett Wilson. I think I have. I think I have Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver 18. I have Sutton at 15. All right, two more. Need killed edu said 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Brees, Genty, Rashad White, Dowdle, Chuba in practice. Yeah, I'm going Dowdle. I'm going with Brees. I'll flex Rashad White. Uh, actually, um, hold on, hold on. Sorry, I would start Genty and Dowdle. I would flex Rashad White. I'd bench Brees, and then at wide receiver, I would start Drake London, and I would start Tet McMillan. That's how I would roll. Last question. Appreciate everybody. Make sure before you guys leave and disappear, make sure you like and subscribe to my show. Very much appreciate that. Ayuk is also on waivers, so would you take him? I would still go with Chase Brown. Still go with Chase Brown. That's gonna do it for me, guys. I believe the fellas are gonna do another show somewhere around 7:30. I gotta get out of here, but thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you guys next.